Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be playing Victoria 3, starting a new run as Luxemburg. Now Luxemburg has access to a special achievement, Luxurious Luxemburg, where you have to get the maximum, be the #1 producer of luxury furniture, luxury clothing, and porcelain, I think is the name of the good. You build it in the glassworks. These are the 3 luxury goods that come from industrial buildings, and we are going to be doing it as Luxemburg. Now there's something we got to check really quick at the start, and that is, yes, in fact. So we did a run of this before, and we see that this has been updated since last time we did a run of this, where the petite bourgeoisie is now the leader of the government, which is going to make things a little bit difficult. Another great difficulty we have that is very unique to Luxembourg as far as I'm concerned, if we take a look at the trade lens, we have 0 market access to the Netherlands market. We absolutely 100% have to get out of their market because we cannot trade with anyone, we cannot join anyone else's market when we're in here, and we have 0 access to their market. So this is the actual worst starting position in terms of trade. It's even worse than like Japan, for example, which has isolationism, which at least gives you some authority and some tax stuff. This gives us a big nothing burger. This is terrible. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go Sacre Bleu, we hate you, and say damage relations and expel diplomats. So we're going to be able to start off very quickly and declare war on them for independence. Since they can't get a front with us, we will win the war despite having no military. Now, as far as this run goes, we're going to be trying to get the achievement as quick as possible once we unpause. So we're going to be on speed 5 the entire time, try not to pause, and try and get it under 5 hours. This is kind of going to be the name of the game on the run, and let's just talk about kind of the situation at hand as far as the start goes. So we're going to first talk about how we want to spend our authority. We are going to want to bolster the unholy alliance of the Industrialists and the Intelligentsia. The reason why is a lot of the laws we want to pass will be supported by these 2, and they will help us pass some laws. Now, we are going to want to also put down an edict for encouraging manufacturing in Luxembourg. The reason why is the entire point of the run is to be the #1 producer. We're going to build tall in Luxembourg, and we're going to try and get this. We might try and take a piece of Belgium. This will be really helpful if we can do it, but sometimes there's like a unique political situation that prevents us. Now, normally we'd put in a bunch of consumption taxes here, but there's 2 reasons why we were not going to do that. One, this gives us enactment time on our authority. So it gives us, it's not nothing. And so we are going to try an early game, just pass as many laws as possible. Like in this episode here, 10 plus laws is kind of what we're looking for. And considering we're speed 5 and we're going to have this authority. So this is what we're looking for. In terms of laws passing, we're just going to reform the government really quickly. The other reason why we're not going to put in any consumption taxes is, or 2 reasons. One, our consumption taxes don't yield a lot. We don't have a large population. Generally, consumption taxes are better the larger your population, like kind of relative to your economy and all the other things that are going on. And the other thing is that we are very quickly going to hit max reserves. And then we're going to build a construction center, and then we're going to go into debt, and then we're going to build max reserves, and this sort of seesaw back and forth, kind of in the early game, because, you know, our economy's too small. But we cannot build a construction center until we get out of the Netherlands market, because we have to source everything ourselves, in terms of just everything, really. So the first order of business in terms of our buildings is we want to get off the ground in terms of we want to have the owners of the buildings, we want them to be industrialists or capitalists, not shopkeepers. And so the first order of business is we are going to go into tooling as quickly as possible. And the reason why is this is the fastest way to start reforming your government in terms of who owns the buildings. We want the industrialists and the intelligentsia to own the buildings, so we have to switch to privately owned. The easiest way to do this is through logging camps and through tooling workshops, because we will get, you know, we will be able to switch to sawmills once we have tools, and then tools, we can switch to pig iron tools once we have iron. Iron uses tools to build it. We are isolated completely until we get into a new market. That is the plan, though. We have to get into Prussia or France's market. We can't just trade with them. The reason why is when you're in the market, you can get immigrants from them. When you're not in the market, you can't, except for a mass migration. Getting immigrants is 100% essential because we only start off with like 200k pop. And so we're going to want to improve relations with either one of these at the start. And then once we have a war with the Netherlands, we'll improve relations with the other. We don't have enough diplo authority to do both at the same time. So we'll start off with France. I think France is a little bit better to get into. And we will try and join their customs union once we're out. Now, quick talk through about laws, because I want to talk about it before we unpause, because we are speed 5ing all the way through. As far as laws go, the really important thing is to make it so that we have no migration controls, we have multiculturalism, we have total separation, and then we also have laissez-faire and proportional taxation. The migration controls and these ones will allow us to attract as much migration as possible, and these will allow us to gain as much money as possible so that we can try and build as much as possible. We're going to build really tall and build out a ton of production, specifically clothing, clothing, furniture, and glass. We are going to have a really unbalanced economy. We're not going to try and have it hyper-balanced. We're probably going to experience some significant bumps and pains throughout this run, but the goal is to, once we unpause, just be as fast as possible in terms of real time, not game time, getting the achievement. So, first order of business, we want to get rid of local police force. So to that end, we need to put them in the government, and then, or the what is it called? Armed forces. And then we're going to try and switch to dedicated police force. We're also going to want to switch to appointed bureaucrats, you know, guaranteed liberties, all these types of normally good laws we're going to want to go for. Institutions are really, really cheap for us. It's only 10 bureaucracy, because we are so small at the start. And let's see. Let's talk about text 2 before we unpause. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to absolutely beeline railways, and then very important is going to be mechanized workshops, because it gives us sewing mills, mechanized looms, and mechanical workshop PMs. Notably, these consume tools, which we are going to build at the start, and then they go into clothing. And so this will allow us to transition from tools to clothing pretty well, and have a comparative advantage if we get this mechanized workshop up quickly. And railways is the most important for us at the start, because if we take a look at our starting buildings, I think we might have looked at them already, but we start with a wheat farm and a livestock farm. That is it. So that's not a lot, but we only have an infrastructure of 7 capacity, and so if we don't get railways, we can't expand this. We need to get railways, then we need to import engines from someone and import coal and this sort of thing. We will handle that once we get there, but that's kind of the situation. We will also go down to 1 barracks, 1 lonely barracks, and then we will overpay the military, because if we delete the barracks, we can't do this at all, and this will give us, we don't really care about anything except for the armed forces approval. And so we're just paying the absolute minimum for armed forces approval rating of +2, which will be kind of nice because we don't want to radicalize them. And what it'll also do is it'll pay them more, and it'll make them more in terms of loyalists, and this will be nice. Okay, so we are going to unpause and have at thee and get out of their market. Now, they are going to become not very nice with us very quickly once we get a couple ticks. Once this 75, you see this one going up. Once this gets to 100%, we will go to 19 and we can declare independence, and we will do that. Then we will stop damaging relations, and we will improve relations with someone else. Now, this is going to be kind of flying. We are constructing. Once we finish this, we'll build another logging camp. The queue is very easy to manage for the most part, because, you know, we only have 5 construction kind of at the start. King intervenes, his will be done, and we get 2 arms. We're not going to mobilize anything. They can't get to our front. We will automatically win this war. And we have an act landed voting movement, which is kind of tempting to switch to. We will probably switch to it at some point. But once we get off the ground here, we will really be able to kind of take off. Now, you notice there's not a lot of employment here. That's because there's not a lot of demand for wood, and we can't create demand for wood very easily because, you know, we're in the Netherlands market, so no one can use our wood. This is another reason why, like, everything has to be really exact when you're just all by yourself, and it's really hard to be really exact, or it has to be really exact when you're small. Why are we unpausing? Terrible. Alright, well, we love them getting low popularity. We don't like the petite bourgeoisie. We wish they were not our leader. This means we're going to be swapping off of monarchy kind of earlier than we otherwise normally would. The last time I did it, it was the landowners. We might get a chance to abuse corn laws in this run. We have to export grain specifically. And so this is going to be how we kind of pass, I think, laissez-faire and free trade, like, early on. We unlock lathe, and we want to just clicky and go. Doesn't really matter which one we do. I think atmospheric engine's a little bit better. but it's not going to make a huge difference. The reason atmospheric engine's good is because we will be able to switch the iron mine over to atmospheric engine pump once we get a coal mine. But that'll be a little ways down the road. Now you'll notice they're just decaying because of exhaustion. They don't control any of the war goals. They can't control any of the war goals because they can't establish a front with us, because Paradox decided that, you know, military access wasn't important, and so we have this. Okay, we might go for landed voting next. Alright. So we are going to go straight into landed voting, just off the movement. We don't really need, what it'll do is it'll decrease our authority, but we don't really need authority all that bad, and we just want to kind of cruise through and pass a bunch of reforms. So this is kind of where we're at. We're at one law passed right now. Once all this finishes, I think we are going to want an iron mine, and we're going to want to switch to iron tools. We are going to have a little bit of an unpause once we get out of their market to try and see whose market we can get in. We'll accept either one of these markets if we can. If we can't, we're going to have to start exporting tools to them or something like this. Maybe make another tooling workshop. But we really need to get inside someone's market so we can import. Alright. We will make peace. And then let's see what we can do. Join customs union. How close are we? Not very close. How about you? Join customs union. Not very close. This is bad. Right now, it would be reasonable to restart the run. We're not going to do that, but this is something you can do in order to just keep trying to re-roll this type of thing. In terms of time, it might even be faster to restart the run, but I'm not going to. Okay. Now, we have the tooling workshop finished, so we're going to switch over to sawmills, which will cause the tools to actually get produced, which will increase demand for wood. So this is important. We will get the attraction, or wait, what? I thought that gave us plus 20%. Oh well. Okay. We will take a pause, and we will also export tools. Actually, we're going to export grain, because we want to pass some laws with the grain laws. Now, so this is the reason we're exporting grain is it's going to make our people bad, but it's because of the corn laws. This causes an event chain, which allows you to switch the landowners over to a market liberal. Once they're a market liberal, it gets very easy to pass through some reforms, so we're going to do that. So we're going to export, and then we have to go into the market, and we have to prioritize export on the grain. And now we have a corn laws journal entry, which gives, once we get rid of exporting it, landowners will be big sad, and we'll get some loyalists. But right now we'll just get a bunch of events. Most of them are bad, but making our landowner our market liberal is not bad. That's a good thing. So we could also start an export route for tools, I think, which will be profitable. We will do it with French, because we want to be in their market. And we will start getting a bunch of events from the corn laws tree. Now, we also are employing people in our trade center, which is nice in terms of employment. We are making a ton of money. We do not quite have enough to build a construction center, but we're kind of getting a little close. What we could do is we could build a construction center and then delete it later. Also, we are starting to get close to our capacity. Once we finish this tooling workshop, we will be at capacity. So we don't want to build over yet because we have a little bit of time before we have railways. So, you know, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We would like to get into their customs union, so we will try and do more trade with them if we can. And we get the modern conservative event, a new leader for our age. A character is going to appear in Luxembourg. If we take a look right here, right now, at the landowners, he is a moderate. Not anymore. Now he's dead. Shot dead. Now we have a market liberal. The market liberal is a big fan of free trade and laissez-faire. So we're actually going to get off this law because I think it's stalling out anyways. And we're going to try and go for laissez-faire and also the other one. So now if we take a look here, a big part of how we're going to generate revenue when we're building only industry, for the most part, because this is how you get the achievement, is going to be the investment pool transfer. There's not any right now, but what we're going to do, it's going to build a lot more with laissez-faire, because we're going to have mostly capitalists, and this gives 50% capitalist investment pool contribution, and this one only gives 25%, but also 5% aristocrats. We're not going to have a lot of aristocrats. This is the most important law to pass, and so we're going to go for this one immediately. And now, if you take a look, the landowners support it. They support it because the market liberal dude. Normally they don't support this law at all. Corn laws is kind of like a busted, like, gimmicky thing. And then now that the corn laws, now that we've gotten the guy we want, we will delete that trade route. Oop. We will make that trade route. No, wait. This is what we want. We want no priority or even protect domestic supply. And now the corn laws events will complete. We will let the trade begin. And the landowners will be pissed at us, but whatever. They're happy because we're trying to pass the laws that they like, which now that we have a market liberal is laws that we like too. Normally not the case with the landowners. Okay. Now let's have a look-see. Hey, you, sir. Oh. Interactions. Join customs union. How close are we? Not close at all. How close are we to become protectorate? Not close at all. How about you? Close to either? Nope. Nope. So we gotta try and do more volume of trade with France, I think. Opposition puts forth demands. We will acquiesce to their request. And then I think we will put a construction at the back of the queue. We got atmospheric engine pump. We will switch on to mechanical tools. Remember, we're just beelining railways so we can actually expand infrastructure. We need to try and get in someone's market, or we're going to have to import engines, which is fine importing engines. Now, I think we're exporting tools. And we have the iron right now. So, we're going to switch over to iron tools. Pig iron tools, which very importantly is going to switch this from merchant guilds to capitalists. The capitalists are going to be primarily industrialists. It's already industrialists, but also intelligentsia. So if we take a look at how the clout is moving, we get laissez-faire. We're starting to really empower the industrialists and the intelligentsia, who are the guys we need. We're going to also go for... Now, why can't we do free trade? We need stock exchange law. Fair enough. So I don't think there's something we can go for immediately here, unless we reform the government. We're going to take these guys out, put these guys in. That's not a very legitimate government, is that? Nope. Okay, we're going to sit for a while and not pass any laws. In theory, we would want to put in a bunch of these taxes, but like, we're already capped out here. It's not super important. From farms to factories, roads to progress. Oh, we've done it. Loyalists or interest group pop attraction for the industrialists is kind of something we want, so we're going to do that one. We want that group to get bigger. And the laws keep passing, and they don't stop at passing. Couldn't resist. The fertilizer should feed that. And then we have the construction queue kind of coming up. We still have a really low pop because we have to get into one of these guys' markets. Now, they're both cordial and both cautious. It's kind of unfortunate. We wish we had a little bit more luck in terms of how they felt about us at the start of the game. It's not much I guess we can export the wood to the French market. I was going to say there's not much we can really export, but we can export the wood as well, which will make our tools less profitable, but our tools are now being made with iron. The iron price isn't too bad. I think it will get bad. But we want to switch to atmospheric engine pump. We're going to go coal mine next. I think we're going to have to import engines to build our thing. I guess we could go landed voting now, because we have a political movement for it. And also please the movement. And change the way that stuff is calculated, because we're going to have to give off monarchy and autocracy faster than we normally would, because we have the petite bourgeoisie in power instead of just a market liberal landowner. We actually would have preferred the landowner. Oh, we do have a landowner. Great Duchy. This changes things a little bit, because we could take them out. I don't know when that happened. We go landowner industrialist. Pretty legitimate. I still don't mind landed voting though, so we're gonna let it tick, but then we might switch off of it after the tick. And now we are building this. And what we will do now is we will juggle stuff in our queue. We will get close to completing something, and then we won't complete it. And so the reason why we're doing this is because we don't want to ruin our infrastructure, because if we go over... Oh, we're already over by 1. Okay. If we go over, it's just like super bad news bears in terms of like everything. Sins of the past, you're telling me. I live in America. Okay. It's not... Well, it's complicated. Let's not make political statements, eh? And so what do you need as an input? You need iron. So let's import iron from the French market. Now, we're doing the French market even though it's not profitable. The reason being, we want more iron. Well, that's the biggest reason. But also, we are already doing a decent volume of trade with the French. And so we want to maximize the volume of trade with the French so that maybe stuff passes. All right. We're going to take a pause, a little bit of pause here. We are going to have a bit of a vote. We have the party of the right here, who's going to decide what's right. And we want to switch. We go no migration controls? We can. The industrialists like that. The landowners, I think, don't, and it radicalizes them. I don't think we can afford a rebellion, because I don't like the way rebellions work with this. We can go religious schools, but we don't want that. So we are kind of, I think, just going to have to hold on a little bit and see who wins this election, and then we'll take a look at things from there. Once this gets close to the top of the queue, we will kick the furniture manufacturer to the top of the queue, and we will continue to move stuff around. Not quite finishing anything until we can get our railroads finished. We're just going to do this so we can click and look and not have to worry, actually. And we will take a look at France. France, how close are you to either trade agreements, not close, or accepting us, not close. They're a little bit closer. We are running now a deficit, and so this was what I was saying earlier. The construction center is too expensive to keep going. It costs fabric and wood, so we're probably exporting less wood now too. All right, we can reform the government for free. And so, who won? They did. And so we might just keep it kind of like this. We don't want the Catholic Church in government. But could we do... yeah, I think I like the Intelligentsia. So I'd rather have the Intelligentsia in government because I want to get rid of some of the church stuff. Except for... I have to put the Catholic Church in the government. In order to do this, this is a little bit of an annoying thing. If we do this... Okay, we're going to do this, and then we are going to try and get rid of state religion and go freedom of conscience. It will have mixed results, kind of, in terms of what's going through, but... Okay, yeah, we are trying to get this done in 5 episodes. For this achievement. And things are going actually quite poorly, because getting into someone's market is really, really, really important, and we can't do that right now. But this will tick really fast because of this. We could actually even put in enough consumption taxes to kind of support this level of construction right now, but it's not necessary because we still have a huge reserve, and so I'd rather just try and pass these laws faster until we get kind of up and going with the economy. Now, you need workers. Of course you do. We get freedom of conscience. A little lucky on the tick, a little unlucky with not being able to get into someone's market, so I'll call it a wash. Now we're going to want to go appointed bureaucrats. Will this radicalize the landowners? No, they're actually still super pleased with us. So we also want to get rid of racial segregation, but we might try and go multiculturalism in one go. So let's go appointed bureaucrats. This will also empower the intelligentsia. If you take a look, actually we're going to make sure that this isn't about to finish. We'll actually put something in there so that we don't have to worry about it. At the top of the queue, just juggle those around for now, and then we will take a look here. Hereditary bureaucrats plus 25% strength to landowners. Appointed bureaucrats plus 25% to intelligentsia, which will empower the unholy alliance, as it were, which is what we want. But we are cruising through these laws really fast. I think we've passed like 3 or 4 now. Yeah, quite a bit. and the politics are passing quickly. Let us take a look at the situation. They're still just amicable and cautious. We really need them to be not cautious. This event's a pretty big deal because we can get renowned playwright, which will up us in terms of our... it will do quite a lot to bump us up in terms of being a minor power. I think we can declare... Being able to declare interest isn't too useful because we can't do any trade because we are landlocked. We can only trade basically with Prussia, Belgium, and... Actually, we can only trade with Prussia, Belgium, and France. And currently, we're not completing any more goods than we were before. Eventually, we'll want to import steel or construct steel. We get water tube boiler. And condensing pump engine, which we cannot activate quite yet, but we will be able to soon. Soon, once we get the railroads. And then we will be finishing a whole bunch of buildings kind of all after the railroad we finish. So, with their support, the bill will pass. Of course. Now, the next one we are going to want to add to the queue is going to be glassworks. I'm going to wait for this to get a little bit closer to finishing, and then we'll put the glassworks at the top of the queue, so we're juggling these and not finishing them. Unfortunately, our trade routes are... Okay, the trade routes don't take up infrastructure anymore. They used to in an earlier patch. Super glad that they don't now. Because that would make this a little bit more annoying, considering how little infrastructure we have. Well, French market is expensive on the wood. They do make quite a bit of tools, though. Now, maybe we want to start exporting. Alright, we get appointed bureaucrats. We're going to take a look at the laws. What we really want is free trade. Alright, let's do free trade now. Because it is supported by the landowners, it's going to be pretty easy to pass here. We could put the industrialists back in government to make it faster, but this will be fine. We will get free trade, and then hopefully our trade routes pick up a little bit. We really want to increase the volume of trade with France so that they're more willing to accept us. You're having a hard time finding employment. This is an unproductive route. We'll just cancel it then. We'll export tools to Prussia as well, I guess. We get free trade, which makes all of our trade cost less administration, which is really good. And let's see if we can... I mean, we can already go after monarchy a little bit, but I think... I want cultural exclusion, but I'd rather just do it all in one go. I guess that... property women would be a nice one. The landowners really don't like that, though. What about rights of assembly? Actually, I think censorship is kind of helping us right now, so we'll stick with that. Don't want charity hospitals. Private schools, we do like that. So we'll do private schools. They empower the Intelligentsia. Public schools are also nice, but we're pretty far from being able to do public schools, so we'll continue on. And we had just built a giant, gold reserve, so this is draining quite slowly. Yeah, waiting on the tech. We will have to play a little bit of a game here, just moving everything to the top of the queue until we finish the tech. Because we will actually not get more production by finishing buildings right now because of our infrastructure problems. So just a little bit of watch and see. Let's pause, take a look at this. I mean, sure, I'll take the prestige. We'll put that at the top of the queue, and now let's go egalitarianism, or get on the route for egalitarianism. So we're checking for any spots where there's only tier 1 tech, because you get a malus on researching any tier 2 tech. If you have any tier 1 tech remaining, we don't see any, so we're going right for egalitarianism so that we can go right into, let's see, what is it? Not freedom of conscience. Multiculturalism. Because we want to attract as much migrants as possible. Now, can we get into the customs union yet? This is actually quite bad in terms of how this role has turned out. We really want in a customs union and we can't get in a customs union. It is uncomfortable. Normally, one of them will be not cautious towards you, and so we've gotten a bad role in terms of this. Discipline and punish. You're telling me Foucault was right. Alright, we'll take this enactment time. Speed up. And once this railway finishes, we'll need to import engines. We will put coal at the top of the queue, so coal actually gets used for something after the railways. And then we will import engines from someone. Probably, maybe the winds are changing and we want to go Prussia instead. We are improving relations with both of these guys. Oh, now they're genial. Okay. So they're close. Curriculum disagreements. We'll take the less enactment time, let them work out their differences. Conservative Party and Liberal League. Let's take a look at those. Does anyone want to join anyone's party? Industrialists and Landowners. I don't think I've seen that. We'll take the enactment chance. They're gonna get powerful anyways. Remember when I said at the start where these guys would get weak really quick? Look, they're down to 8%, and it's all the Industrialist Liberals party. It's because we're both bolstering them and because we're like shifting our economy in that way. Now we will need to import engines. We can't import them from France, so it's Prussia. We don't have the capacity to like build steel and then build the other stuff ourselves. Overly enthusiastic partisans. I mean, yeah, we're gonna let them do their thing, I guess. Can we go? Nope. Now, property and women we would want. The Intelligentsia supports it. I think they're currently in government. We're gonna try and get this one through and get things going. Now, we have to put the Free Conservative Party in government because of the way the legitimacy works now. So, let's do that. The landowners have to be with them. So we can get ourselves a nice little, you know, unholy alliance +1. So now it's going to be super easy for us to push through all the laws we want, although we're kind of already pushing through all the laws we want. What do you got a shortage of? We got to start paying close attention to these. We really want to get in someone's market so we can just switch the PM to steel. We might even import steel to do it. We can ask to become protectorate here. They are domineering. This is a little bit of a think because we'd rather just be inside someone's custom union. We'd rather have France. And they don't want to accept... They're just genial. We're gonna see if we can join Prussia's custom union by giving them an obligation and hope that they can't call in the obligation to protectorate us. So I think we're gonna do this, which will change our economy up quite a bit. We'll take the enactment chance. Prussia accepts. Now we can start switching over PMs to better ones. We'll go steel tools here. We'll go water tube boiler. We will go leaded glass. We will start producing ceramics. That's why I always think it's ceramics, but it's porcelain, I think. We'll restrict child labor for now, I guess. I don't know the min-maxi solution on that event. We will switch over to dyes workshops. We will switch to craftsman sewing. We probably will have to create import routes ourselves for that. But we will also switch on a condensing pump engine. Actually, we're going to do atmospheric then condensing. We're going to switch railroad transportation. Same here. Just switch on all the good PMs. that we want. Now we can probably switch on rails here. We get property and women. Great. Now the important thing to watch, as soon as we join their customs union, look at this uptick in population. This is why we wanted to be in their customs union more than anything else, is the increased population. We're going to do no migration controls next and really try and crank up our ability to get people to migrate, because this population is going to be really important. It's going to bring down the standard of living, which is kind of a good thing, because that'll, well, so the standard of living goes up, which attracts more people, which brings down the standard of living. So this is kind of just like, you know, the great circle of life. Egalitarianism comes kind of right on time. Modern sewage would not be bad, but it's already naturally spreading. So what we will do is we will go for mechanized workshops, which is a very big tech for us. And nothing's constructing. Oh no. Oh no. We're going to set all of this on auto expand, so that we kind of try and avoid nothing constructing events. We will build one more of these because they're really profitable right now. We are making money now that we are inside the market, because everything kind of, you know, fixes itself quite a bit better being inside the market. But let's see if this market is running. Yeah, so we don't have any silk inside the market. They started an import route. We're going to also import from the French. No migration controls is stalling, unfortunately. But once this tooling workshop's finished, I'm guessing we're going to want to go kind of deep in on this. And as ever, we have to keep a really close eye on our infrastructure, because, so, we can build 2 more buildings, basically, before we need another railway. So we will put a railway above the bottom thing in the queue. And then we will add a couple more clothings, because these are going to be really good once we finish mechanized workshops. So that is kind of why we're going for that now. And we might even be able to upgrade this. And we are going to switch this over, the PM over, to iron frame buildings, which would not be possible unless we were in the market, because we can't get enough iron. We'll take the enactment chance. No migration controls. We're here for it. We can start a lot of trade routes with this. We can also put in a bunch of institutions. Institutions are still very cheap for us because our population is quite low. But if you take a look, it is shooting up. We actually will increase this institution. It is shooting up since we joined the Prussians market, which is bringing down the price of labor, which is making our buildings more profitable, which is increasing our investment pool transfer, which is going to be the biggest source of our money. Now it is starting to really ramp up. The investment pool transfer is based on the profitability of our buildings, which is large part kind of being driven by both our inputs being cheaper by being in the Prussians market, as well as the Prussians consuming our outputs. We don't mind this -5 bureaucracy because we have a ton of bureaucracy. It's fine. Now, it might look like it makes more sense to make tools right now, and it would in the immediate future, but in the longer term, we have to get onto this, like, being the major supplier of luxury clothes. In fact, we can try and export luxury clothes in order to kind of push this a little bit. Now you might notice we can only export with guys adjacent to Russia. We can't, or Prussia, we can't do like anything super far away. Oh, this is because they're inside the market over there. So we'll just choose the most profitable one, which is the Danes. Because as we export more of our goods, it's going to make the buildings that we have more profitable. Clothes are still quite expensive, so we're not going to do that. Export that ourselves. Untrained hands, fitting to catch these hands, know what I'm saying? We're going to do the other one. We were wrong one of the times, but I'm not sure which, and it doesn't matter. Alright. Plus 300 gov expenses is not too bad. Because we're making bank now. Large part of it is the investment pool transfer. If you look at it, it's basically half of our revenue. The other half is from taxing. We are not getting a lot from taxing. So we will add... What were we going to add here? I forgot. Okay, probably not important. We do want to get a school down here at some point, which the school's going to be pretty expensive in terms of the price of the labor, but It will empower the Intelligentsia a little bit. Actually, I guess the Intelligentsia is kind of cruising. We already have, like, private education as well. So they're kind of chilling in terms of that. We are inside the Prussians market, so we are chilling. They're still domineering towards us. Don't like that. Why can't we be friends? Partners? What is... Shortage of engines. That will be very unfortunate. We have to fix that instead of Prussian market fixing that. How many engines are in the market? I don't want to fix that ourselves. I want to focus on what we're trying to focus on here, but they might be too slow on that, and the infrastructure is crippling. So we can maybe build one motor industry. Mechanized workshops, the name of the game. And I guess we'll kick this to the top. Bureaucratic, whatever. We'll take the bureaucracy hit, not a big deal. We want to get this thing through. Kind of getting a little bit unlucky on these rolls, but that's okay because we've gotten lucky on other rolls. Credit the Industrialists, obviously. I guess maybe we could credit the trade unions. What happens if we put them in Gov? How does that look in terms of legitimacy? Not very good. But is that just because it doesn't calculate the fact that they're now part of the same party? I think it wouldn't actually be that low, but I don't want to put them in and find out, you know what I mean? So we are going to we're so close to being able to afford another construction center, but we can't. You know, we could bounce minus 5k. We'll be at minus 3k. We might at some point build one before we can afford it and then delete it later, which is kind of something you do a lot with this run, or I have experienced that I have to do a lot. With their support, the bill will pass. Let's try and improve relations with them, and we have the Free Conservative Party winning again. So we will just keep the no migration controls for now. Or sorry, we'll keep them out of government for now, but we are looking to put them in the future. And we will just still keep the faster ticks, although we are at a point where we're somewhat close to being able to, you know, add more construction, which makes it tempting to add consumption taxes instead. Now, we could also start trying to think about, you know, taking a piece out of them. The problem is we will face Great Britain. We can't face Great Britain unless maybe Prussia joins with us. So, actually, we need Prussia to do the fighting. Why are you not so happy? Oh, my kingdom for, like, winning one of these rolls. We are having a straight up not good time regarding that. Don't even need engines anymore, but we're kind of close to finishing this engine thing. So we will have at it or keep at it. The brave engineer. The brave little toaster? What? Oh no. -5 infrastructure is kind of a beating, right? Oh no, not right now. It's not. Okay. So let's see. We can afford 21, so that's 7 buildings. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we will build another... Oh, we will upgrade the railroad. It goes down here. And that's kind of all set for now. Railroad boom. We don't want extra throughput. We really don't want extra throughput. We will get the tech boost. Popular playwright, very nice. We will take the prestige and kind of grumble about, you know, not being able to get no migration controls through. But also, just take a look at our pop. It's like up 50% since we joined the Prussian market because we're siphoning off a ton of pops from them. The French market would have been better, and we might try and get into the French market if something weird happens with Prussia. The way we get out of Prussia's market is we just damage relations, and once we get it below 20, it just automatically pops us out. So this would be how we would get out, although that will be a very uncomfortable experience when it happens. Let's see. Dyes are getting cheaper. Don't think... Maybe they have explosives. We're going to switch over. Are explosives in our market? They are, but they're expensive, so we will not switch over yet. Oh my god. We will take the popularity because this thing is almost passing, where it's like, it's got a super high enactment chance pass rate already, so we would rather just empower the industrialists quite a bit. I do want to get off of monarchy at some point. Yes, this is what we wanted more than anything else. Okay, steel railway cars will also be nice. I suppose we could go into that. We have almost all the tier 2. I guess we'll go fractional distillation because this is gnat spreading. Bone china will be nice for what we're trying to do. And then we will go sewing machines and mechanized looms and watch the profitability shoot up in this building. Yep. So now this is really high, and we are off on our way to building a ton of luxury goods. Remember, we have to, in order to get the achievement, we have to be the #1 producer of luxury clothes, luxury furniture, and porcelain. We forgot to switch over these PMs. Big sad on us. This is what you get for trying to play fast. Alright. And now these are hyper profitable, so maybe we will build some of these instead of... And we get no migration controls, so we will put another one of these at the top. Look, our pop's nearly doubled since we joined the Prussian market, and it's only going to get faster as we got rid of migration controls, because now people who are persecuted and such can migrate, which they very much will want to. So we have no migration controls. Let's go multiculturalism. And then we will probably go after total separation, which has a ton of support. Do we have a nihilist as our industrialist guy? We do. Hot. Probably should have gone total separation first then. But oh well, in case the nihilist dies. And I think we're almost off and running in terms of like starting to actually build more construction centers and get going. What do you need? Crystal glass? Let's do that. Still not very profitable, but we'll get there. Now, important thing to note is now we are starting to enter the phase where we're going to get economies of scale bonuses, which is going to be a really big deal because the AI is really bad at building tall in a specific place. We're going to build tall in a specific place. We're going to get up to 50% economy of scale throughput bonus and 20% from encouraged manufacturing, which means that we will be able to attract a ton of people. He intervenes. The reason we'll attract a ton of people is because we will be building way more goods per building, and then when you build more goods per building, the building's more profitable. As the building's more profitable, you can pay your workers more. And then we're also going to be building a ton of buildings, so they will be competing for workers, which will drive up the need for workers, which drives up the price of wages, and so this will cause more people to migrate. I think we're gonna do the construction center and then eat the deficit. Yeah, the judgment can't be trusted. We can take this bureaucracy hit, but I think I'm okay with the government can't be trusted. So we get multiculturalism. Now we're going to go total separation, which will pass very easy. If we just take a look at the cloud has come along quite a bit since the start of the game. You know, we started with like 40% of the landowners. Landowners are now basically non-existent. It's all in the Unholy Alliance themselves, which we are still bolstering because we still want to get some of their reforms. Although pretty soon here, I think we'll actually have all the industrialists stuff that we want. Taking a look. I think we actually do have everything we want from the industrialists, so we will stop bolstering them so that we have more authority, so we tick through laws faster. Really wish we could take on Belgium, but we can't. Now we're about ready to eat a whole big deficit from the new building we got, and we get total separation on the first tick. Very nice. We will go through. I think that off to the left we have almost everything we want, except for starting to mess with these, which I think we'll be doing. No migration controls. Poor laws wouldn't be terrible. Now let's do poor laws. And wow, our investment pool transfer has expanded enough. Now it is a bigger source of revenue than our taxes themselves. And we're not paying a whole lot. We are paying a lot in subsidies. Now this is to keep the railroads going. Unfortunately, we need that. The furniture manufacturers are so profitable. It's so happy. Alright, what is a good thing to export? None of the goods we're producing, so we're just going to hang on to this for now because Prussia will handle a lot of exports naturally. If they're not, we will add on to them. Looking to mainly export the goods from textile mills, tooling workshops, and glassworks will be our main MO to make our buildings more profitable. We get poor laws on the first tick. Happy day. I think it might be time to go rights of assembly. It will radicalize people. I don't think they're powerful enough to have a revolution that is substantive, so we're going to go into it. Prussia demands that we submit. We are going to decline and incur the penalties of getting this obligation. Yep, we're going to say no. We're going to say kick rocks, my guy. Which does make us neutral, which unfortunately... Now, why can we declare independence? The custom union is going to end. Which is going to shake up everything. I think we want the trade unions to start gaining power. I believe we get booted. Tooted and booted from their customs union here in a second. Ah, we can't be broken for a while. Okay. As soon as possible to be broken, I do think it does get broken. So it's going to be broken in 2 years. So. We are getting chemical bleaching, and then we will go steal railway cars. Which we will need to overbuild rails a little bit. So I'll put a railway at the back of the queue. With the understanding that once we switch to steel... Yeah, sorry, Grand Duke. Well, we don't really need the prestige anyways. We are not using it for anything. So, Free Conservative Party wins by a landslide. They want to join the Liberal League, but it says big sad if they do. I think we are going to start bolstering them, though. Oop. Because the next stuff we want to pass is going to involve them. Let's take a look at how long we've been going here for... we've been going 50 minutes. We can play a little bit longer. I think once we get... well, just been breezing through a lot of these laws here. I think we want to switch to... one of these. Get off the... Well, the landowners are, like, kind of irrelevant. That disempowers them is doing nothing because we have virtually no farming. And so, I think we actually might even want to sit where we're at for a while. We do want proportional taxation, but I believe we need the trade unionists to get that. And so... ah, yes. This is why we wanted rights of assembly. So we could get this. And have way more loyalists. Guaranteed liberties is going to be very good, especially because we are going to fluctuate quite a bit on standard of living. If you take a look at our pop's now like doubled, basically, from when we got into the customs union. And I think we are going to splurge a little and build a university. I think we're overbuilding rails right now. for the impending switch to steel rail cars, which will require more railroads, but they will be more profitable. And we have to keep in mind we are going to get popped out of the market in a hot minute. And so we're going to try and get into France's market, but this is going to be very uncomfortable when we get popped out of their market. So I think to that end, maybe we want to build a little bit more iron mines ourselves and a lead mine. Just to have a little bit of resilience, but it's not going to help very much. Suppose we could also build a steel. We get guaranteed lives. Man, we are just cruising through these reforms. I guess we can go presidential republic. Because this will help us just be more legitimate. We don't need the authority. So we can stop bolstering the Intelligentsia, so it's not a big deal. Let's check the profitability of what's going on. These guys are really profitable. Starting to get there. We can switch to bone china. Let's make sure we're importing enough. We're fine on the. We're fine on our inputs. I was checking for dyes, and it looks like we can build another construction center. Of course, when we get booted from Prussia's market, we will probably have to delete all of our construction centers, and this is just something we have to do. But our GDP is shooting up. Standard of living is going up. Population's super high. We have very few radicals. General staff is irrelevant. We are not going to build a military for some time. We will try and get presidential republic and then restore censorship. Come on, guys. Come on. We actually wouldn't mind restoring censorship. The reason we want rights of assembly, I guess we do like the text spread modifier, but the main reason for rights of assembly was so we could so we can get home affairs, which we're actually going to boost to max level. And social security, I think that we don't really need. I guess we'll boost this as well and build our first government admin when we can to pay for all this. I guess we'll kick this up to the top, or almost the top. We now have 2 buildings in our construction queue building at once. Aren't we rich? Ah, but the investment pool transfer has dried up. Oh, because it's building the government administration. Yeah, because so we're gonna eat this, but we're gonna make this bigger, and so it's fine because we'll have access to that for a bit. Okay, we now have a presidential republic, and we are running a negative on authority, so what we will do is we will stop bolstering the Intelligentsia. They're strong enough as it is. And we get the steel rail cars. I think we can switch over now and not run. So we're using 37 of 74. Yeah, we could definitely switch over now. We actually could probably kick this to... Well, we'll see what we have to do in terms of that, but we will switch over to the steel rail cars, which give us less infrastructure, but way more transportation. So lead mine, let's get you on the right PMs here, my guy. We're gonna switch everything to nitroglycerin. Slaughterhouses, kind of a little overdue switching all those PMs over. This can go to the bottom of the queue, I think. Francis, no. Or maybe no. We could become France's protectorate at any point in time now, which is quite nice. We gotta do something about this. Reinforced concrete would not be... Alright, sorry about that. Let's take a look here. Dialectics, oh no. I do like the education investment though. So, actually, yeah, dialectics. Because there's nothing kind of immediately in the tech tree that's going to benefit us in terms of the manufacturing. You know, we don't have a lot of this stuff. I guess rotary valve engine would be nice. It's not spreading to us. I guess maybe we'll do that next. We are losing money here. I think we expanded a little too quickly, too fast on terms of both the construction and this university. But now we're going to drain the investment pool quite a bit. So it looks like we're losing 600, but we're losing 600 plus or minus this as well. So we are, I'm thinking we can build into it. I really don't want to expand the tooling workshops too much because we want to stay focused, eye on the prize of these three, the textile mills, furniture, and glassworks, but we are trying to make ourselves a little bit more resilient here too. And I think we can just go max on that. Probably don't need to though. Just hold out here. Now we could restore censorship, which is kind of like a bit of a meme. We just kind of got what we hit it and quit it, you know, toot and boot it. Could also switch to one of those. Private health insurance is quite nice. So I think this is going to be the last law we take, or we're going to take a look at how long we've been going. Okay, actually going to call it here at exactly an hour. So what we have done is we have mainly just passed a whole bunch of laws. We're going to strengthen them. We've mainly just passed a whole bunch of laws and gotten out of the Netherlands market and into Prussia's market, and we are building tall here with... we have just been booted from the market, actually, so this is incredible timing because we will figure this out when we come back. Probably joining their customs union if we can. Yikes, we can't. We might become their protectorate, but we have just been booted from Prussia's market. So we got into Prussia's market, then we got booted out of their market. We are no longer in their customs union. They're both domineering on each side. We will be handling this next episode. It'll be very uncomfortable when we handle this. We have shortages of everything. We are going to try and get that market back on track. But what we have managed to do, you know, in addition to doubling our population, you know, standard of living's gotten really, really high. It's going to shoot down now, but that's for next episode. But what we have done is we have... Let's see, we have enacted Presidential Republic, that's 1. Landed voting, 2. We have enacted Multiculturalism, that's 3. We did Freedom of Consciousness and Total Separation, that's 5. We switched to Guaranteed Liberties, 6. We got to Laissez-faire, 7. Free Trade, 8. We do want to switch to this next episode, but so Free Trade, 8. Switch to Dedicated Police Force, 9. We switched to, well, we're in the process of switching here, but we switched to private schools, 10, rights of assembly, 11, property to women, 12, welfare, 13, no migration controls, 14. We have passed 14 laws. It is in the first 20 years, because we've been going on speed 5, but we've passed 14 laws that kind of ramp us up to, like, take off a whole bunch later. Right now, we are going to experience a ton of pain in terms of shortages, but we'll be handling that next episode. For this episode, what we've done is we've, you know, already explained it, just a ton of laws, a ton of population. We will be putting in our consumption taxes kind of starting next episode and looking to, you know, up our income and also fix this monstrous problem here. But that's going to be a problem for next episode. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm stuff, and have a good day.